you're absolutely right in that these fix-the-debt groups, they claim that they're bipartisan, and the way that they do that is because they say we need more revenue. And then they talk about, well, it's 2/3 spending cuts and 1/3 revenue. Of course, the deficit reduction up to this point has been 3/4 spending cuts. And the revenue they talk about is through this comprehensive tax reform system. And so I want to just try and give them their due, if you will, try and play out exactly what argument they're really making here. And that they're saying currently the actual the official corporate tax rate in the United States, the highest rate, is 35%. The effective rate, we know, it ranges from something like 10 to 15, rarely ever higher than 20. You've got a bad accountant if you got that. But their argument is essentially this. If you let us have amnesty on the money that we've been hiding right now overseas, by essentially allowing us to bring it home through this territorial tax system and say that if it was earned overseas, then it can go untaxed. If it was earned overseas, rather, or that'll be taxed at the rates that they have in those countries, and in many cases it's places like Bermuda that are tax havens. But then we'll bring the money home to our banks here, to where we hold our money here, and that will prompt us to reinvest it in jobs and business here, and ultimately that will somehow generate more revenue. They also say that if we're allowed to bring it home and then we lower the American U.S. corporate tax rate, then that will also encourage corporations to stop faking this reporting overseas, and they'll bring it home from overseas where it was going untaxed, and then they'll be willing to have it taxed in the U.S. because the tax rates are lower. But you basically point out that this is all voluntary, and there's just no record that because these things seem like they would encourage corporations to do that they actually will.
Exactly. And our past experience is just the opposite. So back in 2004, they made this argument then too. They said, oh, our money is being held hostage overseas because the tax rates in the U.S. are so high that we can't bring it back here. And if only the tax rates were lower, then we could bring this money back and use it to create good American jobs. And so they granted a temporary tax holiday, a deeply discounted tax rate for money that was brought back from these overseas pots. And what happened? The companies that took advantage of that tax break did not create jobs. In fact, many of them followed up with mass layoffs. And so this is just an empty argument. We've tried it before. They didn't use the money to create jobs here. It's just one more way for them to avoid paying taxes.